I thought this was a pretty big story. We talked about this quite a while ago. So this is a major update in this situation. But I'm going to tell y'all, I had some thoughts about the biological mother in this story. And when I saw this update, it literally confirmed every bad thing I thought about the biological mother. I want y'all to remember there is a father and a girlfriend who are actually going to be suffering for the death or going to be punished for the death of this girl. But there's a whole additional thing about how this baby ended up in this situation and the biological mother. I'm going to have some things to say about her. But this is such a beautiful angel, and I hate the way that things turned out with this story and this little girl's life. But let me give you a disclaimer, and then we'll go from there. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And thank you, Tempe, showing some love by way of the super chat. I appreciate that. Want to show some love. Thank you. Thank you. So I am getting this story from a website called The Independent or the-independent.com. So if they are listening to this video, thank you very much. I'm going to read from two different places. I'm going to read from that website, and then I'm going to also read from Wikipedia to kind of catch you guys up if you don't know anything about this story at all. This might be your first time hearing about this. So New Hampshire officials will hand over $2.25 million to the biological mother of the little girl by the name of Harmony Montgomery, a 5-year-old girl who was murdered by her father in 2019. Now, her mother, by the name of Crystal Sorey, S-O-R-E-Y. Let me see if I can get the biological mother's face up here. This is her with her Harmony shirt on. That's the biological mother, Crystal Sorey. She filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the state Division for Children, Youth, and Families last year. Okay? So she's saying there was a wrongful death lawsuit and she won the money. She won her case, she won the money, but I want y'all to catch these few details. She claimed that the agency failed to take action after several people reported concerns about her daughter's welfare once the girl's father, by the name of Adam Montgomery, who's 34 years old, this damn fucking idiot right here, was given full custody in February of 2019. Do I need to read that again? I think I need to read that again because I think that went over people's head real quickly. Read that again. Adam Montgomery, 34 years old, was given full custody in February of 2019. How many of you guys heard me say that and you thought in your head, what? First of all, how did this murderer get full custody of this girl? They must have thought so highly, or at least less highly, of the mother that she said, you know what, the biological father would be a better option than the mother. And then you'd have to be thinking, what the hell happened and how did she lose custody of a child, but yet she won $2.25 million in a wrongful death lawsuit of a child that she did not have custody of. Do you see the dumb face on my face? Because this the dumb face. Why? Because I'm dumbfounded of the story because it makes no effing sense. Did y'all catch that? I know that's a lot to catch. And I know some of y'all been watching the story since 2019 or roughly around when the pandemic started around 2020. And y'all been following this story. And I know a lot of y'all had no idea that the biological mother did not have legal custody of her own biological child. And how many of you guys asked yourselves, well, how the hell did she lose custody? I actually have an answer to that. But let me tell y'all, let me keep reading. So the biological father was given full custody in February of 2019. Harmony had been placed in state custody earlier in her life, and a judge determined that she should live with her father, even though he had a violent criminal history. So the biological father had a violent criminal history, and they still thought that this baby was safer in the hands of her biological father rather than the biological mother. For everybody listening to the sound of my voice, I know we only got a few people watching. If y'all would do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up and share this so we can get our normal audience back. That would be awesome. But let me know if you guys heard what I just said. Do y'all hear how crazy that is? He had a violent criminal history and still won custody. So how effed up was the mother? What was the mother doing that they're just like, no, this baby can't be with her? Hashtag babies for benefits. Thank you. I'm glad somebody called out my hashtag. Thank you. One report claimed Harmony returned home with a black eye after the two went on a trip to Florida. She disappeared in 2019, but wasn't reported missing until 2021. That's a whole 2 years. Her body has still not been found. Officials believe that Adam Montgomery killed her, moved her body around for months, and later disposed of it. He's since refused to tell the police what he did with his daughter's remains. Now, during his criminal trial in 2024, Kei'mani Montgomery, Harmony's stepmother, which was, let me see if I can get that whore's face back up on the screen. Where's the whore? There's the whore, right there on the right-hand side of the screen. Adam Montgomery, she said, wait. During his criminal trial, Kei'mani Montgomery, Harmony's stepmother, told the court she'd seen her husband violently beat the girl for soiling herself in the back of the car where they had been living. Shortly after, Harmony became unresponsive. So these people didn't even have a place to live, and they still thought that this was a better place for this girl to be than the biological mother. I want y'all to understand how bad the biological mother situation had to be in order for them to turn her down, but then to say she can go stay with the biological father. These people didn't even have a damn place to stay. Adam Montgomery, the father, she said, stuffed her body in a duffel bag and moved it around for several weeks, hiding it in different locations, including a restaurant freezer and the ceiling of a shelter. Jesus, wow. And she knew this and still chose this man and didn't say nothing. In May of 2024, he was sentenced to a minimum of 56 years in prison. In March of this year, Montgomery appealed his murder conviction. His attorneys claim that there were issues with Kei'mani Montgomery's testimony because her story had changed several times during the police investigation, and she has a history of dishonesty and misplaced trust. The attorneys argued her testimony shouldn't have been admitted. The state's settlement is not an admission of any wrongdoing or unlawful conduct according to terms of the agreement. Sori, the biological mother, will withdraw her suit and release the state from any liability according to NBC 10 Boston. So they're basically paying her off to not condemn them for putting her daughter in the wrong hands and ignoring claims, I guess. In the same week, the state agreed to pay settlements to the parents of two other 5-year-olds who had been murdered. Danielle Vaughn's son, Dennis Vaughn, was allegedly killed by his grandmother, Sherry Connor, in 2019. The state will pay his mother $5.75 million. Damn. In another settlement, the state will pay $2.25 million to Timothy Lewis, the father of Elijah Lewis. The child's mother pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in his death. The state agreed to these settlements to avoid prolonged litigation and support closure for these families. We have recognized their profound loss and hope to bring this some measure of peace. New Hampshire Attorney General John Formella said in a statement on Friday. Here's the reason why I'm going to read from Wikipedia, because I want to further point out how wrong this whole situation is. Is everybody listening to me? Y'all can raise your hand in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know y'all can hear me. This is coming from Wikipedia. They're saying the little girl, her name, Harmony Renee Montgomery, this beautiful angel right here, disappeared somewhere roughly around 2019, declared legally dead by March 12th of 2024. Was believed to be murdered by her biological father, Adam Montgomery, in Manchester, New Hampshire, after a Massachusetts judge awarded her father custody. Her biological mother, Crystal Sorey, reported her daughter missing after she lost custody. Let me say that again. After she lost custody in 2018. New Hampshire police launched an investigation into Montgomery's disappearance in December 2021. So this little girl had a life in foster care also. So Harmony Renee Montgomery was born June 7th of 2014 to Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery. Harmony was placed into foster care with Tim and Michelle Rafty at 2 months old. So this baby was doomed from the moment she was born if you done lost custody of your child after 2 months of having her. Harmony was partially blind in her left eye and had spatial behavioral needs. Her half-brother Jameson was born in 2016. Harmony took on the role of a big sister who took care of her brother during foster care, according to her foster mother, who said Harmony was a social, intelligent, and happy child. In 2018, the biological mother, Sorey, lost custody of Harmony and her brother. Jameson was later adopted by Blair Miller and Jonathan Babbitt Miller, who went on to state that Jameson missed his sister and was distressed to learn about her disappearance. Do y'all know why the biological mother lost custody? Because this woman admitted out of her own mouth she was doing drugs. She chose drugs over her children. So she loved drugs more than her kids, lost custody, did not have custody, and here I am wondering, in my little pea brain head, I'm wondering, how do you win money for a child you were not taking care of, did not have custody of, but they felt like you got done wrong, and here's $2.25 million to a person who wasn't technically, legally a mother? It's beyond me. Let me give you guys the fair usage, and I'm going to let y'all take a look at 2 news videos. Here we go.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
And if you guys are listening, you can do me the biggest favor and please click that thumbs up. If you're listening, please click that thumbs up. It helps us tremendously to share these videos and keep this content going. And eventually we'll get back to
suit against the state last September, months after Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, was found guilty of killing the little girl. And through that wrongful death lawsuit, she claimed the state's Division for Children, Youth, and Families was negligent and liable for her 5-year-old daughter's death because they put the 5-year-old in harm's way. She says Harmony's death was preventable and accused DCYF of...
So she's saying that the Children Protective Services put her daughter in harm's way, but she's literally a crackhead. She's a drug addict, aka crackhead. So she didn't do nothing wrong, even though this bitch lost custody. But you're saying, oh, it's the state's fault. The state messed up, huh? So I guess it's the state's responsibility to raise kids and not mom and dad. I guess it's not mom and dad's responsibility anymore. Unless I'm just unless I'm just stupid.
Failing to respond to reports of abuse that were made months before Harmony was killed. Sori lost custody of Harmony years ago, but last March, a judge granted her request to have Harmony declared legally dead. When that order was granted, Sori told reporters her priorities were finding her daughter's remains and holding the systems designed to protect Harmony accountable. Adam Montgomery is 1 year into his 56 to life prison sentence for murdering Harmony in 2019. Her remains have never been found. Now, by settling, the state says it is not admitting to any wrongdoing here, and both the state and Crystal Sori say they won't be commenting any further about this at this point. We're live in Manchester. Kei'mani Fleming, WMUR News 9.
Kayla, you referred to Harmony Montgomery just now. How do you know her?
She's Adam's daughter, and we started a year after we got together. He was working on getting custody of her, and
I don't understand how you could look at a little girl with a smile like that and you have hate in your heart. I don't really get how that happens. I really don't.
he had to work to get custody of her. He wasn't just given her, and it took 4 years to get custody of her.
Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Who's depicted in this image?
Harmony and myself.
Did you take her and put her in the ceiling of your room at the fit shelter?
No.
Did you smush her into a CMC bag like the one I showed you earlier?
No.
Who did those things, Kayla?
Adam Montgomery.
Kayla, I want you to look at these jurors. Kayla, did you kill Harmony?
No, I did not.
Did you beat her to death?
No, I did not.
Were you alone with her when she died?
No, I was not. He said he thinks that he really hurt her. He felt something.
When did you realize that Harmony had passed away?
When Adam was trying to wake her up and she didn't reply or anything.
Was he saying things to her to try to wake her up?
Yeah, he said Harmony, and he kept saying baby girl, like, and trying to budge her, and there was nothing.
Kayla, why are you currently incarcerated?
For perjury, for lying on to the jury about the whereabouts of where I was and where Harmony was.
And those perjury charges put her behind bars. She is.
And if she lies, she should face perjury charges. More people should. I don't know why that's not standard practice. So, of course, from his perspective, you'd have to wonder, like, why is it that they can convict him largely because of her testimony when she's a known liar? That's crazy. I'm not saying he should be absolved, but I'm just saying that's crazy to base a lot of this on this woman's testimony about what happened, her eyewitness account, but yet they notice she lies.
Is going to be eligible for parole, has a parole hearing coming up. Take a look, folks. It's coming up on March 7th of this year, a parole hearing for Kayla Montgomery. Crystal Sori, Harmony's mom, still with us. Crystal, your thoughts tonight about that parole hearing. Are you going to request to be heard?
I'm going to do my best to be there. I was told it's only a 10-minute hearing, and living in Fitchburg, my son gets on the bus at 8:20, so it's like a time crunch. I'll probably barely make it, but I do know Michelle is going to be there.
As of right now, no, they have not found this girl's body. And I don't know that we could ever expect to find it either. So, nope, they haven't found the body. Nope.
In case I can't get there on time. So I'm not sure if she's going to say anything, though. I'm not sure about that.
And what
But
are your...
I am going to write something and send it in.
Absolutely. That's, if you can't be there, at a minimum,
Yeah.
you know, be heard. I mean, to me, every time parole board is making decisions, you want them to get as many sides as possible, so they're not like just focusing in on, oh, what she says. Let's get the whole story in front of the parole board. What are your thoughts about Kayla's role in all of this and the way it was portrayed during the trial?
So I get what they had to do with as far as her testimony and giving her this deal or whatever the case is, because they needed to get him, you know, which I understand that. The way that Adam was portrayed, though, like, I have to clear something up because it's not true at all. He didn't work 4 years to get Harmony. He never went to a class. He never went to groups. He never took parenting classes. He never did any of it. There is not one shred of evidence that he put any time or effort into getting her. All he did, what I can tell you what he did do, is he forged paperwork proving that he had a job when he didn't. He had it for like 2 months and then lost it. He was trying to prove he was doing all this stuff and that he was clean, and he never was. So,
and this is coming from a mother who they literally felt like was so inadequate as a parent that they would not give her custody, and we're supposed to feel sympathetic for her. They gave this trashy ass dad custody instead of her, while she's sitting here trying to make it seem like he's just like the worst human ever. And they still chose him over her. Think about that.
the fact that they were high the entire time they had my daughter, and I lost custody of her for having substance issues, not even being.
They were high out of their mind, and then she's like, but I had substance issues. Them, they were high out of their mind. Me, I had substance issues. Them, they're drug addicts. Me, I had mental health issues. Them, horrible people. Me, I'm a victim of my circumstance. What? She look high right now.
The fact that they were high the entire time they had my daughter, and I.
Do y'all hear that? This is what you call, and shout out to Tommy for giving me this. This is the pot calling the kettle metal. Not the pot calling the kettle black. It's the pot calling the kettle metal. Y'all are doing the same damn shit. Isn't that crazy? Should she have gotten over $2 million? Hell no. That's almost $2.25 million. For what? For being a drug addict and losing custody of your kid. So we're going to reward you by paying you $2.25 million. That makes no sense.
Is he forged paperwork proving that he had a job when he didn't. He had it for like 2 months and then lost it. He was trying to prove he was doing all this stuff and that he was clean, and he never was. So the fact that they were high the entire time they had my daughter, and I lost custody of her for having substance issues, not even being high. I was just at risk for major relapse, you know?
I was just at risk of major relapse. What the freak? It's like you wonder, like, oh my Lord. These people go above and beyond stupid, and you wonder, could you possibly be any dumber than this? Is it possible to be any more or less, what do they call that? When no self-realization, I forget that term that you call it. When you can't recognize when you're doing something wrong, when you're so self-absorbed. This is what you have when clowns have sex. Expect a circus. This is ridiculous.
And I kept going into program after program. I kept doing all these things. I wanted her. I was, proving day in and day out. Never really missed. I missed one court date. That was that one court date I missed.
I only missed one court date. y'all. I only smoked one blunt. I only smoked one rock. I only did heroin one time. I only smoked meth one time. But I'm at risk for major relapse. But they did my daughter wrong, y'all. But the reason I lost custody of my daughter, y'all, was because I was at risk of major relapse. And so the judge thought that I wasn't a suitable parent. But then they's over there doing wrong, y'all. They was high the whole time. All they did was high. They were so high they could touch the sky. That's all they did, y'all. And I deserves my $2.25 million, y'all.
And
all I did was miss one little single insignificant court date, y'all.
never went to court dates until he decided he wanted her. Until he woke up one day and said, yeah, I think I want her because she's a meal ticket and I can get some Social Security for her.
Oh my God, she did not just say that. She's this is narcissism. Y'all, somebody said that's narcissism. Is that what narcissism is? Is ignorance at its finest? Somebody else said it's insanity. So she's trying to say that the father was trying to use this babies for benefits, right? That's what she's saying. But she's the one that got paid. While she's trying to say that the only reason they got this kid was to get the benefits off of that kid, which is what we call babies for benefits. But this alleged mother lost custody and got benefits for a child that she hadn't had custody of for years. In the eyes of the law, you are no longer a parent. Not one kid, but two. She lost two kids, not just one. She lost custody of two.
Until he woke up one day and said, yeah, I think I want her because she's a meal ticket and I can get some Social Security for her.
But you just won a $2.25 million lawsuit for not being a mother. How does that make any sense?
He never wanted her to better her life or to...
He never wanted to better her life, but you chose drugs over your daughter. God damn. He didn't want to make her life better, but you chose drugs over your kid.
Never went to court dates until he decided he wanted her. Until he woke up one day and said, yeah, I think I want her because she's a meal ticket and I can get some Social Security for her. He never wanted her to better her life or to get to know her. As soon as he got custody of her, it was... To me, he said to me, I have sole custody. I get to make decisions for the rest of her life, and you won't have a say. That's what he said to me. And I'll never forget that he said that to me because he didn't want her to, so she could have a good life. He wanted her to say he got her. She was his.
It's that... It gets back to that same control, right? If I can... Because he can't control you. Right? You're done with them. Yep. But in order to get to you, he uses her and I control her, which is his attempt to try to control you, your life, your emotions, your recovery, everything.
You know what? And it makes me wonder if people like this man are over here on the left, I know he's got to be a little bit quick on his feet and he's got to realize I'm over here talking to a damn idiot, but you know what? This is my job. I'm going to talk to her and just act like everything is normal. And people like this, they go on with their happy little lives and raise their kids and their families and be like, kids, this is why you say no to drugs. Look at my segment on Court TV and look at how stupid this is. How it makes absolutely no sense. But again, this is why I wanted to bring this up, because this is basically a final update, because I can almost guarantee you they're not going to find this body. This biological father is not going to be man enough to tell anybody where the body of this baby ended up, where he took it, where he dropped it off at. And everybody here seems to be drug addicts. So this baby was doomed from the moment that she was born. So all I could say to Harmony is this. Let me find my favorite picture of her. Probably this one. Probably this one. Because she just looks like she could have been just a bright kid that could have grown up to become anything. So Harmony, young princess, R.I.P. But thank you guys so much for listening to this. This is pretty much going to be the conclusion. I seriously doubt if there's going to be anything new that comes up of this story. But if they ever find the body, that'll be a wonderful thing. But I doubt if they will. But let me know what you guys think about this. If I got something wrong, please let me know. Thank you. So let's go to story number 2 out of 7. Let's keep this thing rocking. For those who are with me, you just got the notification, Ellen Dorsey. Well, thank you. I'd rather you get it than not get it. So it is all to the good. Let's go to story number 2 out of 7. For those rocking with me, what's up, Regina? Thank you very much. This is story number 2 out of 7. And let me swap these videos out here real quick. Give me a second. Boom. And I'm going to probably skip through some of these videos. It's like 4 of them. But thank you to whoever emailed me this story. I don't remember who it was, so I can give credit to it. But people email me these stories, and I changed the font down here so maybe y'all can see this a little bit better. It says theafcmatters@gmail.com. That is my email address. So a lot of y'all have been able to find that relatively easily. I don't reply to every single email that I get, but I do reply quite a bit. So there are times, depending on what it's about. If you do ever send me an email, I always try to tell people, do not send me anything on YouTube. Nothing on YouTube. The only thing I need is news, website, articles. That is all. And people are like, you know what? I'm going to send him a video anyway. So it just know that you're wasting time and it doesn't do any good to send me any videos. I can't use them. I will never use them. So send me news websites. It's so weird to see you talking and your voice does not match. Who, me? Are you talking about me? Hopefully my voice sounds okay. I hope you're not talking about me. Let me see how I sound. Let's see what we got going on here. Hold on. Let me test this out real quick.
This year, a parole hearing for Kelly.
Who, me? You talking about me? I will never use them. So send me news websites. It's so weird to see you. That sounds pretty good to me. I'm watching it from my phone. So the same thing that y'all are watching, I can watch from my phone. So I'm hoping it sounds okay. So we have another couple more donations. We have people taking on the $1 donation Cash App. Cash App is at the top of the chat challenge. Thank you very much. So let me show some love and say thank you to the next set of people. So we have one that came in from One Jazzy Lady. Where is One Jazzy Lady? Are you in the chat? So I want to say thank you to you. That was about 30 minutes ago. So hopefully you can hear me if you're still there. Thank you to One Jazzy Lady. Let me say thank you, hashtag pray for harmony. And that is from Z. Z showing some love and Z showing big time love. So if you're listening, thank you very much, Z. Much love. Thank you very much. That is the 3rd donation since last month. That's pretty dope. Thank you, Z. And to Selena, this is Selena's 3rd donation, showing some love. So Selena, if you're in the chat, type in there so I can see you in there. If you guys are not able to type in the chat, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. You got to be subscribed to the channel, I think, for about 10 minutes, and you should be able to type after that. Are y'all ready to talk about this handsome young man right here? Handsome little baby. I hate to see people abuse kids. So again, I want y'all to remember, as much as people try to say it's difficult to listen to my channel because of what's going on, to these kids, what's happening to them, there's nothing more difficult than what we listen to as opposed to what these kids are forced to live and die through. I feel like we owe it to every baby to have their story told, especially this young man, right? He said he's a cutie. I thought it was a little girl. He's so handsome. No, it's a little boy. It's actually a little boy. So his name is Jakai Smith, and this is out of Ohio. I don't know if this is out of Cuyahoga County or Cleveland, but we're going to find out. Let me see. This is out of, where is the Franklin County courtroom? Let me see if can I Google search that? I'm curious if this is in Cuyahoga County. Let me see. That's Franklin County. Okay, well, it says Franklin County. It says it in the name. So let me ask. How close is Franklin County in Ohio to Cuyahoga County?
The distance from Franklin County to Cuyahoga County is 133 miles.
So just over 2 hours, about 2.5 hours. So it's different. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I want to blame everything in Ohio on Cuyahoga County. Said you were issuing the $5 challenge on Cash App. Thank you, Deborah Dorr. And she did donate it. I see it. Thank you very much. So what the challenge means is when people issue the challenge, that means they've already donated that amount of money. And she's asking for somebody out there in the chat to show some love in your heart to meet her or beat her on her challenge. So Deborah Dorr, if you listen, thank you very much. So Reege and all kind of other people from Mrs. Alicia F. and Sarah Gates and so many people do this on a regular basis to where they donated an amount and they ask for people to meet them at that amount. I think that is so cool, and I thank y'all. I think it makes it fun for us to kind of challenge each other a little bit. So if you have it in your budget, cool. If you don't donate if you don't have it in your budget. If you don't have $1 in your budget or $2 or $5, I promise you, don't send it. I don't want y'all to put yourself in any type of financial strain at all. But if you do, a lot of us can find 4 quarters to show some love to a cause that I think is worth something. Oh, hold on. I have to adjust this chair. I finally caught the live stream. You are listening from Alberta, Canada. Where are you guys listening from? You don't miss living in Franklin County? Is it a bad place? Is Franklin County a bad place? We do owe it to these babies. Thank you, Queenie. I appreciate you saying that. Ohio is out of control. Columbus is an hour and a half from me. Wow. Boy, oh boy. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I wanted to blame this on Cuyahoga County just because a lot of stuff out of Ohio that's bad generally is in that area when it comes to stuff going on with kids. But Franklin County is about 133 miles away, so it's just over 2 hours away from Cuyahoga. So I can't blame it on that. But I want y'all to hear what happened to this little boy with such a bright smile. And what happened to him is inexcusable and is flat out cruel. So let me give you a disclaimer and then we'll get into the details. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Let me tell y'all something cool that I can do while we're live, because this is live. I'm going to address something that you said in the chat, because I see people post this in my comments all the time, and I usually catch it because I have filters that notify me when y'all say stuff like this. You said, go on with the story, dude. First of all, my name is Jay. My name ain't dude. Tanya Thompson. If I'm not moving fast enough for you, then get your news from news websites. Do not get them from YouTubers, because guess what YouTubers do? Guess what content creators like me do? We talk. You don't want to hear me talk? Then this is not the place for you to be. I'm going to try to be respectful. I didn't want to be respectful to you at first. I was actually about to probably talk real crazy to you, just to let you know. because I'm going to stand on business when it comes to that. I tend to not talk very nice, especially when I feel like people are being disrespectful. When I'm talking about these stories, it is literally for me to give my opinion and my sense of what I feel like is going on in this world. If you want to hear me just read a fucking article and just be like, okay, article's done and we're moving on to the next thing, I'm not here to just be some reciting instrument. I could just read some stuff and move on. That ain't what I'm here for. Would you care to comment on that, Tanya Thompson? Hit the thumbs down and leave the channel. This might not be the place for you. It's okay. But I don't know why people like this, and I'm just going to be real with you, Tanya, and I do forgive you, and I do accept your apology. So let me take I ain't going to lie to you. Look, I get a little angry sometimes. This is me being angry, so I'm going to calm it down. Let me drink some water. Let me cool off. I'm sorry. I got my bottle of water. Let me cool off. Okay, so let me restate what I was saying. Let me bring it down. I was about at like a 9. Let me bring it back down to about a 2. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry, Tanya. These people in the chat, they know. I'm like, oh shit, Jay about to go in. Look, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. Let me restate what I'm trying to say. This channel is literally meant for me to give my opinion from a father's perspective, from a counselor's perspective, and just a person really just in society. I see things wrong and I try to call out what I see. That's literally what we do here, and to try to get justice. And when I say get justice, I'm not just talking about, yeah, throw these people in jail. I'm talking about like what we have done. If you look at the situation with not Anaya Day Garrett, not that story, to Billy Simone Williams in Stockton, California. That is a story where those people are literally doing prison time because of my channel, right? So when people ask, like, what do we do, or what is the point of this channel? It's not just to read the news, because if you come to just hear the story, then what you got to do is just copy the name that's in the title of a lot of these videos and just look the story up. Like, there's literally like plenty of news stories. Like, I could just play the news story, right? But I don't think just that really makes an impact. I think it makes an impact when we go out into the streets. Like, y'all know that story about the 9 secret children that were found in Oklahoma? Guess what I did? I went to OKC and I talked to the lady that saved those kids and met some of the older kids, right? Actually put boots on the ground to try to go get justice in that story. And guess what? Those people now have I think a life sentence apiece, which was Timothy Bivens and what was the other woman's name? That other nasty fool. Let me see if I can find her name real quick. So yes, I accept your apology, Tanya, and I'm sorry, sweetheart. I was about to go off. I'm sorry. I got anger issues. So Timothy Bivens and Emma Garcia Bivens. Y'all remember them two weirdos, right? Y'all remember them? This one, Thing 1, and Thing 2. Y'all remember this? What's up, Real South? What's happening? Y'all remember these two? They are sitting in prison because of our advocacy. So just think about it like that. So I'm sorry it takes a while to get to the story. I do that. But that's also why I do the live stream. The live stream is really for us to talk together. Then the stories, I cut out all the fluff when I re-upload the stories, if that makes sense. But you're good, though. So I'm sorry that I got upset. So my bad. I won't do it again. My bad. All right, let's get back into this. Here we go. So we are getting this story from dispatch.com. So thank you for the article. Let me pull this back down so you guys can see the pictures. This handsome young man. A mother accused of severely torturing and abusing her own 4-year-old son, ending in his death. She briefly appeared in Franklin County, this is in Ohio, appeared in courtroom on May the 8th, where a judge denied her the option of a bond as she awaits trial. So she got zero bond. Kei'mani Smith Parks. Kaylee is spelled Kailee, which is this whore. I mean, this wonderful black queen right here, this woman right here. She's 19 years old. And I want y'all to hear what I just said. Kei'mani Smith Parks, the mother of this boy. The mother is 19 years old with a 4-year-old son. How many of you guys caught that? Which would have made her what? 18, 17, 16, 15. Probably got pregnant at 14. That's the only way she could have a biological 4-year-old kid, is if she got pregnant roughly around 14, 15 years old. There's no way she should be a parent. I'm not saying it's completely impossible for children to eventually learn to raise children, but it's practically impossible. It's statistically irrational. It's not something that people should be doing. I know it happens, but they are proven to not be good parents. So why would we expect that she could have raised this child properly at 19 years old? But this chick is charged with aggravated murder, and 22 counts of endangering children. 22 counts in the April 10th death of her son by the name of Jakai Smith. The mother, Smith Park's attorney, Jeremy Dodgen, waived her appearance for most of the hearing before Common Pleas Court Judge Michael Holbrook. The mother did have to appear briefly after Holbrook determined she would be held without bond so she could be informed of her right to appeal his decision. So the mother was not in the courtroom as the Reynoldsburg detective Nicholas Rubenstahl, one of the investigators in Jakai's death, testified about the abuse Jakai suffered. Captured on video from the boy's bedroom in the Steinway Drive apartment where Smith Parks and her boyfriend Linwood Allison Jr. lived. Allison is also charged in Jakai's death, which is her boyfriend. Let me see if I can show you the boyfriend. And this dude looks like he's young too. I don't see his age. Do y'all want me to try to look his age up here real quick? Let me see if I can find his age. We're going to do this live. I don't see it off the top, but he looks about her age, though. It's hard to know. I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe it's in here from some other website or something like that. I don't know, but I don't see it right now. But anyway, so I'm going to just assume he's in his early 20s. I'm just going to assume. Anyway, so Rubenstahl choked up several times on the stand as he described the abuse, which included physical, verbal, and psychological torture. He said a camera that was installed in the boy's bedroom captured him asking for food hundreds of times a day. Where's my soft spot? AFC, if y'all have been watching me for any number of years, even a couple months, what is my soft spot? Does anybody know? Starving is my soft spot. Y'all can see I'm a pretty hefty brother, so I know the value of getting some good food. But it is just something that breaks my heart when people can't eat. That is my breaking point. Because I feel like every person, if nothing else, should not starve. Everybody should be able to eat, especially babies who cannot speak for themselves, nor defend themselves. They can't go out and work. They cannot go out and get food themselves. They depend on what you give them. And if you are intentionally, let alone to not be able to afford to give them, which is already a crime in itself, but if you intentionally make it to where a child can't eat so that they can die or be deprived of food, is just a special level of a rotten bitch if I've ever seen one. And let me tell y'all how much more stupid these people are. I come from a generation before surveillance cameras. Maybe that's me telling my age. There weren't a lot of surveillance cameras. There were no Ring cameras. There were no Blink cameras. There wasn't none of that when I was growing up. These people grew up in the technology era. If this woman, this alleged mother, is 19 years old, then that means that she grew up in the era of cameras and smartphones and home computers and laptops. And these people are so damn stupid that they continue to do crimes knowing that there are cameras everywhere. They could walk right by a camera and just not be thinking nothing of it and do some stupid, murderous, criminal activity and still forget that there are cameras watching them. So we can go back and look on camera, get your story, realize that it was bullshit, and then turn around and be like, so this is what you did to your kid? No, Oz didn't do that, y'all. Oz didn't do that to my kid, y'all. That's a mistake. He had SIDS. Y'all. Sudden infant death syndrome. It was something other than a contributing factor that they did to this kid to cause his death. They didn't do nothing wrong, y'all. They caught on camera physical, verbal, and psychological torture. And this boy, they said, and I quote, asked in apparently either in view of the camera or the camera heard what he was saying, asking for food hundreds of times a day. And they threatened this boy with punishment if he continued to ask for food. You would see this baby eating crumbs off of the carpet. This baby, I'm getting mad. I'm sorry, I'm getting mad. They caught this baby on camera eating crumbs out of the carpet of the floor. Do y'all hear the desperation? Do y'all hear the cry of this little boy? Who is going to cry for this little boy? Will anybody? Will anybody speak up for this little boy? Happy kid. Born in a very, very tough circumstance. The odds were already against him. And you just made it worse just because you want to be an asshole of a mother. You would see him eating crumbs out of the carpet on the floor just to get some kind of nutrients. The video also showed the boy Jakai subjected to cold showers, another bathtub story, y'all catch that, where when he returned to his room, he would be unable to stand or dress himself. In other instances, the mother and the boyfriend would tickle Jakai, Rubenstahl testified. They would tickle him, which included being held down, having his ribs raked, fingers poked into his abdomen, and other physical abuse. Rubenstahl also said videos showed Jakai being waterboarded. If y'all don't know what waterboarded means, that means being held at an angle, having water run over your face, with you not being able to breathe and the water suffocating you where you're like choking to death on water. Waterboarded. At times, they lay him on his back and dump water straight down on his mouth, pinched his nose closed, and in my opinion, he's unable to breathe, Rubenstahl said. On April the 10th, the day Jakai died, videos showed Jakai being struck dozens of times in the face, tossed around the room, and mocked by the mother and the boyfriend. When Linwood Allison Jr., the boyfriend, and the mother discovered that the boy was not moving, they still did not believe him. They said he's trolling them, that he's faking being dead. Jakai is not able to move. They position him in different positions where he continues to fall over. And that's what she did, this mother, this woman. And I don't want to hear about her being young and dumb and mental illness and what she was going through. She was an adult that made this decision to bring a child into this world, to put herself in a grown person's position. Therefore, you need to be held to the standards of a grown person, right? And it doesn't take a grown person to realize that you shouldn't do this to a child and have some fucking compassion. You don't have to be grown to have compassion. You don't have to be rich to have compassion. To not do this. That's just evil, period. And there is no excuse for that. It just needs to be punished. I don't care what age the person is. If you catch somebody, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years old that takes a dog and chokes it and cuts its throat and rips its limbs off and throws it over a bridge, yeah, that person probably is not going to be a good person in society, let alone doing that to a child. There are just some people that don't deserve to be in our society, and this type of retarded behavior cannot be rehabilitated. This woman, the mother of this boy, cannot be fixed. This fool cannot be fixed. This woman can never be a good person. She can't learn to be a good person. She will never be a suitable parent, nor should she ever be given an opportunity to. Holbrook reviewed several videos in his chambers before the May 8th hearing and described them as horrific. He said, and I quote, "They are far worse than what he described on the stand. She ground the incense into the child, the little incense that you burn to make your house or apartment smell good or make a room smell good, the incense that you light on fire and you set them. Apparently she was taking these incense and putting them out on the child's skin some type of way. It's just horrific. Clearly, she breached her duty to protect her child. This is my 21st year on the bench. I've dealt with some horrible cases. That's some bad stuff." Dodgian interrupted Holbrook as he spoke, expressing concern about the judge's comments and Smith Park's ability to get a fair trial before him. Franklin County Children's Services spokesman Scott Varner said that the agency was actively investigating a report made through the agency's hotline on March the 17th. The report involved allegations of Jakai, the little boy, being neglected, but no allegations of physical abuse. Within 48 hours, Varner said a caseworker had met with the mother and Jakai at their Reynoldsburg apartment, and the case continued to be investigated and assessed. Under Ohio's revised code, a public children's services agency that determines a child is not safe in their home can ask the court to remove the child through a motion requesting child custody proceedings begin or an emergency request with the county's juvenile court if there is believed to be an immediate risk. Franklin County juvenile court records show no filings have been made involving Jakai at the time of his death. So what the hell does that even mean? Does that mean that somebody is about to get paid money off the death of this child? I think they got to stop doing that. You shouldn't be awarding people millions of dollars who abandon this kid and abuse this kid. That doesn't fix anything, and it doesn't make any sense. Smith Parker, the mother, was herself involved in the foster care system as a child, and detectives are continuing to go through her records. Rubenstahl also said that the mother is currently pregnant. Jesus. People like this should not have reproductive organs. I'm trying to tell you.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
If y'all are listening to this story, especially for live right now, do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up and share this video. It's the simplest thing you can do. But let me let y'all hear a couple of news videos. Maybe this will kind of give a little bit better insight than what I'm giving. Here we go. Y'all, please hit that thumbs up. We're doing pretty good. Hit that thumbs up.
Today, a mother charged with murder for the death of her 4-year-old son went back before a judge, and that hearing revealed new allegations of what really happened to that little boy.
We are getting also a new timeline from Franklin County Children's Services on their interactions with Jakai Smith. Jeremiah Wilcox is on your side tonight with the latest.
Kei'mani Smith Parks making a brief appearance in court after a judge ruled she be held without bond.
Do you have any questions, ma'am? Okay.
Her attorney waived her right to appear and testify in court during her bond hearing. The state arguing her case is one of the most horrific crimes that can be done to a child.
Perpetrated by an individual who was held in a position of trust and had a duty to protect that child.
Taking the stand Thursday was Reynoldsburg detective Nicholas Rubenstahl. He says from a search warrant of the Ring camera footage inside Jakai's room, he says video between March 21st and April 10th shows Smith Parks and her boyfriend Linwood Allison Jr. torturing the boy up until his death on April 10th.
They dump water all over Jakai, all over his head. They will hold his head up, dump water down his mouth. They will start doing compressions on Jakai's stomach once it's full of water. They will throw Jakai around. They've thrown him to the point where his head slams off the ground. He cannot stand up. His body is completely limp.
During this time, Franklin County Children's Services says they were in contact with Jakai's family. They provided me with new information about those interactions. They say they received a call to their hotline about a neglect concern with Jakai on March 17th. Within 48 hours on March 19th, a caseworker was in the home meeting with the mother and Jakai. Franklin County Children's Services was still in the process of actively assessing the case when Jakai was rushed to the hospital and died. As Smith Park's attorney argues, she should be given the chance to get out of jail.
Detective's testimony indicates that she was employed, she's lived here her entire life, ties to the community, not on any type of supervision, no criminal record, Your Honor.
The judge not holding back.
This is my 21st year on the bench, and I was a trial lawyer for 22 years. I've dealt with some horrible cases. That's some bad stuff.
What's next for Smith Parks is that she has 10 days to appeal this decision. In court today, there was talks that she will have a new lawyer.
People knew and loved 4-year-old Jakai Smith, including the woman who he considered his grandmother, Tanya, who helped take care of him the first few years of his life.
I think this was the foster mother, so let's listen at this real quick.
She tells me she is heartbroken.
That's my baby.
Inside her East Columbus home hangs a photo of a smile forever etched in Tanya's memories.
So happy. Such a ball of joy.
And captures the innocence of a boy just 4 years old.
He thought he was Spider-Man. You couldn't tell him he wasn't Spider-Man.
Jakai Smith died a week ago, and those who loved him are still trying to make sense of what happened.
The past week, all we could do was cry.
Tanya, who asked not to share her last name, says she took care of Jakai's mother, Kei'mani Smith Parks, for several years as her foster mom.
His mother, she came to me while she was pregnant as a very young teen.
Tanya says she took care of Jakai and Kei'mani until Kei'mani turned 18 more than a year ago and aged out of foster care. That's when Kylie began distancing herself from the family.
Kylie shut a lot of people out after she turned 18. So it was only for so much that we could do.
The last time Tanya and her family saw Jakai was in December.
He was so excited to see us because he hadn't seen us in a few months.
She had no idea that time would be the last. Jakai's mother now faces endangering children charges. Court records state Kylie failed to provide medical attention to Jakai in a timely manner, contributing to his death. Linwood Allison Jr., who Tanya says is Kylie's boyfriend, is charged with aggravated murder. Court documents state Allison Jr. caused fatal injuries to the boy.
Some of the details I've heard is unimaginable that a 4-year-old had to endure.
As Tanya grieves Jakai, she now finds herself also grappling with the mixed emotions she feels for the woman she once considered a daughter.
But that's not the child that I raised. The child that I raised wouldn't do that to her again.
But she plans to fight for justice for Jakai in the courtroom as she now also prepares to lay him to rest.
We're not going to hold on to how he left this world. We're going to hold on to the memories that we had with him.
I also reached out to Franklin County Children's Services tonight, and they tell me they were working with the family at the time of Jakai's death. Allison Jr. and Smith Parks are both scheduled to be arraigned in court tomorrow morning. Carly Dion, 10 TV News.
Relatives of Jakai Smith say they never knew what he was really facing.
I didn't have any idea it was to that extent. I knew something wasn't right. That's why I called Reynoldsburg police officers.
In the weeks after great aunt Kashinda Green says she alerted police, prosecutors say the 4-year-old boy was tortured at the hands of his mom, 19-year-old Jakai Smith Parks, and her boyfriend, Linwood Allison Jr. Prosecutors say the little boy was beaten, locked in his room, starved, waterboarded, forced to take cold showers, and verbally berated. They say the injuries led to his death.
It is devastating to know that a helpless child was going through such an awful condition.
Great Aunt Nakia Carter says the family asked for help from Franklin County Children's Services. The agency confirms it received a report of neglect, not physical abuse, on March 17th. A spokesman says specifics about that call are protected under privacy laws. But he says a caseworker did meet with Jakai Smith and his mom at their home within 48 hours on March 19th. And the agency was actively assessing the family's case when he died 22 days later.
We wanted to go the legal way. You can't go over there and try to take matters into your own hands. You have to go through the proper protocols and channels, and that's what we was trying to do.
I went to Reynoldsburg Police to ask about the call the great aunt says she made for a well-being check last month, but I was told neither the chief nor investigators were there. Authorities have charged Jakai Smith's mom and her boyfriend with murder and 22 counts of endangering children. His great aunts say they believe the system has failed their family, and they want answers.
This will help us in the grieving process to know. But to not know is terrible.
Here's my thing. At the end of the day, that child would have been better off with the foster mother that was trying to help raise this chick. And even though she had positive influences around her, and this is why I just believe that this individual was just an evil person, it's because she had good influences around her to try to help her, especially putting herself in such a difficult position. And, trying to be a mother early, very, very early, way too early. But then to turn around and treat your kid like this, and maybe even to treat this kid to the point to where whatever housing you were getting, whether it be Section 8 food stamps or child support or anything like that, just sounds like you only love the benefits that you got from that kid, and you didn't actually love the DNA tie that you had with this beautiful baby boy who couldn't speak for himself or defend himself against not only the tyranny of the mother, but the boyfriend too. And I don't think that's the father of this kid, but I don't know that. We haven't heard from the biological father, so I don't know. So we're just assuming it's his mom and boyfriend. But Jakai, young prince, R.I.P. This baby boy could have been something special, just raised in the right hands. But thank you guys so much for listening to his story. But let me know what you guys think. If you see something else or maybe something you disagree with what I said, please let me know. But I hope that both of them get life in prison. I don't think why they should get anything less than that. But life in prison for both of them. Thank you. So let's move to story number, I don't know what story we're on. 3. 3 out of 7. So how many guys are still with me? Y'all still with me? Y'all still rocking with me, AFC? Let's go to this next story. I think this was interesting, and the rest of these stories aren't going to be nearly as long. I can't believe what his T-shirt says. What did his T-shirt say? I saw you type that in the chat earlier, but I didn't look. Let me see. This one says Puma. This one says little, then there's Nike. Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it now. I see why you made that such a big deal in the chat. Lord have mercy. Let me show y'all this. Look at this. I want y'all to keep in mind. I want y'all to keep in mind that this boy was starved to death. Thank you for calling this out in the chat. Can y'all see what this boy's shirt says? I made this about as big on the screen as I could. Okay. Yep, y'all see it. I will call you when I'm hungry. His shirt says, I will call you when I'm hungry, and he did, and he cried, and he cried, and he cried, and his cries were ignored. The irony of that is creepy, to say the least. Thank you for calling that out in the chat. Y'all said that earlier, and I didn't even pay that any attention. Boy, sometimes I will catch things like that, but I didn't catch it this time. Wow. I will call you when I'm hungry, and the irony in the fact that this boy was starved. Very sad. Jakai, R.I.P. Prince, young Prince, R.I.P.